Woohoo! Congratulations getting this far. Now, in this section, we talked about the principles. That is, we tried to adjust our brains, our perspectives, to look at the world in a different way. From a place that we have no control over, that we react to a place that we have control over. We have choices, and choices that we can shape. We talked about the idea of learning versus winning the system, where instead of finding a way to just get good grades just because you want to do well on a test, to focus instead of this idea of long-term learning. What will help you learn in the long term? We talked about this idea of what is success, that everybody has a different idea of success, but being smart doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be successful. You need to have that drive and passion to lead to success. We learned about the obstacle and how we want to shift our focus from whenever we feel that insecurity, that we're not good at something, that we suck, that those are actually things that are going to make us better, that make our skills worthwhile. Most people are going to turn around when they see an obstacle, but that's not you, and you're going to push forward because that's what makes you valuable and unique. We learned about the idea of the dip, and sometimes we need to understand when we need to turn around and try a different path. We learned about compound learning and this idea that you don't have to just necessarily go all out and study 12 hours a day. Instead, it's all about small, little daily learnings that are going to make you successful and an efficient learner in the long term. We learned that failures don't count against us, that we can fail 100, thousands, millions of times. All that matters is where we are now in our current state. And the more failures we have, the more feedback we're going to get to improve. We learned about choices versus chore and how we want to view learning as a choice, not a chore. We learned about this idea of framing, to frame and look at things as a way for us to grow and improve instead of in a negative light. That's what we did with the obstacles, right? We learned about this important principle, the Pareto principle of the 80-20 rule, that we don't necessarily need to get to 100% right from the bat. Instead, it's about this idea of what are the vital things, the 20% that accounts for 80% of our results, something that we're going to use in our learning strategy later on in the course. We learned about this exciting idea of skill stacking, that we don't have to spend our entire lives getting good at one thing, which is really, really difficult. There's always going to be people smarter than us that work harder than us. But with skill stacking, we can make our different skills, the combination of skills, unique so that we stand out and we become valuable. We learned that we need to make sure that we're happy within ourselves, that our happiness factors are taken care of so that we have the foundation to learn and do well and continue to learn. We figured out that we each have our own productivity time, and by now we know when our learning should happen within a day. And then finally, we learned about this idea of the self-learning paradigm, that to be a self-learner is a choice. You have to be motivated to continue to learn, and that no amount of money or external rewards or pats on the back that we get from our friends is going to make us become an efficient learner, a strong self-learner. We have to be motivated and decide that starting today, we take learning as a priority in our lives, and you're going to make the choice to become a self-learner, to continue to learn and have learning be a part of your daily practice. We now have the principles in place to move on to the course. Like I said, it does feel like we just learned a ton of topics that you can find in self-help books and self-help videos and courses. But this is important because we now should have the foundation that shifts our focus to turn on to more and more exciting things. And these videos are nice and short so that you can always come back to every once in a while and remember some of the principles whenever you feel like you don't want to learn, whenever you feel like you're not happy, whenever you feel like you have doubts. These videos are here for you to come back to and be reminded of the important principles that will take you far in your learning career. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.